Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and Gothamites. My name is Emily Sophia, and I'm going to be breaking down for you guys tonight the latest episode of Gotham, Harvey Dent. So, spoiler alert, before we dive into the mad thick of things, as I will be bearing all in this review, and I will also warn you that very shortly here I am going to begin our little discussion with a rant about the last 2 minutes of the episode, because I need to get this off of my chest, this monstrous feeling of disgust and utter perturbation, which I don't even know if that's a word, but I am livid enough to invent words of wrath to better explain how I feel. So if you're not ready for that, then I suggest you brace yourself, you pause, you come back as soon as you are in a state of utter rage, okay? So let us talk about our dearly beloved friend, Barbara Kean, okay? So, beginning of the episode, our poor unsuspecting Jim Gordon walks into her apartment and finds a note from her containing information regarding her being haunted by the spirit of Zaz and Falcone's hitman, and she can't handle life anymore, so she's going to go somewhere to set herself straight. Or, well, not exactly straight in terms of her sexuality, okay? But, and so, one of Barbara's key issues in life is that every time she says that she is going to do something or go somewhere or agrees to do something or go somewhere, she does the opposite. But it doesn't, none of it really seems premeditated. She just kind of oozes and flows about, and there is no explaining this woman and her actions. There is no justifying them. There's no understanding and supporting them for me, because I don't freaking see where she's coming from. I don't know where the writers want us to think that she's coming from. She just does things, and it's always the wrong thing, okay? And I know that this is my reaction, my analysis, however rageful it is, but why? Woman, I just want to shake you. Ugh, I can't deal with it. If Zaz doesn't get you, I'm coming for you myself. So, you know, I will shave my head and I will, well, that's probably about as far as I would go. I do not intend on taking any form of a blade to my flesh, because I don't roll that way. But I am coming for you, because Zaz has taken a little bit too long for my liking, okay? So she uses that as an excuse. Obviously, she's forcing herself into this kind of rebound because she doesn't think that Gordon is paying enough attention to her because he's doing, like, real life business. And of course, Montoya's bed is apparently open, and I don't know if this woman thinks that this isn't going to conflict with her relationship with Gordon and the things that they're trying to do on the... Everything is just wrong. And I totally called it, you know, the scene where Gordon at the very end of the episode is leaving our voicemail like, I love you, and this is kind of, you know, pretty suckish right here, right now, what you did, but I'm here and whatever else. And he says that he has nothing without her, but, well, he still got her apartment, so that's something, right? But I certainly hope, my dear Gordon, that you are waxing poetic and that you do, in fact, have something beyond this woman, because I don't think she should be part of your end game in any way, shape, or form. This is my psychiatric analysis, my professional opinion, and I suggest that you subscribe to my channel and to my thoughts, because I feel that they are better than other things. But, you know, when she's lying on the bed and she's listening, you know, we see, like, the almost empty glass of wine, and she's lying there, like, looking flustered, and then slowly we see Montoya come around her shoulder, and I was just like, good night, goodbye, I'm done. I am signing your death warrant, because I have hereby had it with everything you are and choose to be. It's like that, oh, that quote from The Office, like, I hate so much about the things that you choose to be, or whatever that one was. You guys know the one. Anyways. So now that that is off of my chest, I can talk about other things that happened in this episode, of which there were many. And as a whole, I think that this was a pretty good penultimate episode. I think that we are on the verge of the mid-season finale, or the fall finale, or I'm not sure exactly where things are at, but I'm pretty sure that we're close to some form of the end. Now, granted, I don't think that the title Harvey Dent for this episode was necessarily justified. I mean, he was there, and he certainly played a role in the reemergence of, oop, hello contact, where do you think you're going? The reemergence of the Wayne murder case, and he becomes involved in that, and we get to see a lot of things suggesting the man that he's going to become someday. And that, for many fans, is very problematic. The fact that we have all of these characters with whom Bruce in the comics, he grows up with. He grows up with these people, but in the show, they're already young adults, they're already in their respective fields, in the situations wherein they become the villains, the antagonists, and the different characters that they ultimately become. And so it all feels like it's moving at the speed of light, and poor Batman is left behind. He's gonna be the last to make it to the party, you know. But at the same time, Harvey was interesting. He was very interesting in this episode, and of course the writers had to indulge, you know, the coin flipping and the you know, the classic iconography that comes with the character of Harvey Dent, the White Knight / Two-Face, although we didn't get as much of the White Knight kind of vibe in this episode. We saw a lot more of the rage that he has, especially against that Lovecraft guy, I believe his name was. But yeah, so we see suggestions of the man that he is going to become, and the way that the actor who plays the character goes about things is, I would say that it verges on overselling at times, because with that much energy, how is this guy going to not end up being Two-Face within like the next season? That's kind of the way that I felt with this episode. I mean, again, I think that they're trying to reel people in with bright, shiny, beautiful Easter eggs, but they don't really need to do that. The show can stand on its own without having to juggle so many characters. And I mean, I think it's okay that they brought in Harvey at this point, but he doesn't get to have the same relational dynamic with Bruce that his character does in the comics, so it's gonna be fundamentally different. But there's a lot that the show has changed about the canon that we just kind of have to accept and roll with. So keep that in mind, and I totally understand for, you know, if any of you guys were kind of frustrated with the way that Harvey came into the picture in this episode, but I did enjoy the scene where he's breaking things down with Gordon about the way they're going to proceed in the Wayne murder case, having Selina Kyle as their witness, but she's more a story than an actual presence, thereby securing her safety, but also getting people to talk. So they're hoping that they can kind of ferret out the truth by rattling cages. That is Harvey's approach. And there's one scene where we see the black and the white, and the way that the shadows fall on his face, of course, is trying to make him appear like Two-Face. So cinematography and lighting in that aspect was clever, and again, in sort of the Easter egg territory, but I can appreciate that. I really do enjoy the cinematography of the show. Other aspects that I loved, I think that my two favorite parts of the episode were the scenes with Bruce and Selina Kyle, and also the interactions between the Penguin and Liza and kind of what he was up to, because really, and it was a little bit hard to tell what the Penguin wanted with everyone that he encountered in the episode, but that's what's so brilliant about that slippery little son of a biscuit, is that his motives remain unclear to everyone, and yet he makes the people for whom he works think a certain thing, think that he plays a certain role. And he does, but he doesn't. And so what he tells Liza in the end about her relationship with Falcone and how she can't tell anyone or else she's gonna die, it doesn't seem to accomplish anything on the outside. But the menace with which he conveys this to her seems to suggest that he has a different idea entirely, or he sees where things are going to go and he's planning to capitalize on or take advantage of what is going to come from Liza being Mooney's bait, okay? Or Falcone's bait for Mooney. Or, well, I don't know. I'm trying to say it the right way and I feel like I just keep saying it in different wrong ways. So I'm going to move forward. But I loved the first scene where he creeps into Liza's apartment. There's the background music, kind of this, it almost felt like a theme song for the Penguins. So in that respect, I really enjoyed the soundtrack of this episode. It had this kind of like dun 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 dun. You know, it was like that scene and the whole apartment, the way that it was constructed and the lighting and everything, it felt very noirish, but then at the same time had just enough camp to make it a very fun and delightfully creepy scene. And delightfully creepy really does describe pretty well the way that the Penguin acted to just about everybody, trying to extend friendship to Mooney and, you know, going in for a quick little whiff of her lilac scent, which he also detects in Liza's apartment. So basically, he's just kind of trying to feel, or shall we say smell, things out as far as what Mooney is up to. And again, we'll see what he does with the information that he's clearly acquired here. But, you know, follow your nose wherever it goes, okay? He's got a little bit of a Toucan Sam kind of vibe to his subterfuge, but I really enjoyed those scenes, the way they're shot and the colors, more of that Tim Burton feel that I love and enjoy seeing in the show. And then, so what's great about what happened with Selina Kyle in this episode is that she is finally made to kind of matter to us, because she's been a presence and we knew that she was going to be important when we saw her see the death of the Waynes. But previously she was just kind of running around and she was brought up at random times that didn't really seem to make sense, like in last week, and I kind of ranted about that. But now she's brought into the Wayne Manor to kind of be detained as the Wayne murder case goes underway, and Gordon is trying to make sure that he can keep tabs on this woman, because she does not make it easy for that to happen. So he wants her to have a place, he wants her to be in a place where she is safe, but also close to the case, so that way they can get the information they need and really make progress in this. So it's all very strategic and it makes sense. But now we get to see this really cool and very sweet friendship unfold between Bruce and Selina, and it definitely verges on the oh so flirtatious, of course. So that was very fun to watch, in the little food fight that they engage in as well. And there's also that tension about the way that Selina views Bruce's privilege. And she's trying to wrap her mind around what Bruce thinks he's doing, the ways that he is training himself, building his own curriculum, trying to make himself strong. But she knows so much better. She has been on the streets, and she can attest to the fact that being able to hold your breath for a good long time in your backyard swimming pool isn't really going to get you far, and that he's got to be ruthless. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but I've seen a few people so far complaining about the way that the dialogue is written for the child characters in the show, those being Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle mainly at this point. And I can understand why people are frustrated, because, like, we've got adults that are trying to write children and what children would say to one another, and then we have actors that are playing the children and they're probably at least a few years older than the children that they're portraying, and so we have these layers that have to be worked through, and sometimes the dynamic doesn't come across as completely believable. This is something that we see in a lot of TV shows and video games, like, how do you do children? I think of the game Heavy Rain, which is brilliant other than the fact that it doesn't know how to handle kids, how kids really act and speak. But the way that the actors play the characters, the energy that they bring to the table, and the characters that they represent as the future Batman and Catwoman, it makes it so rewarding to get to see these two interact with each other. And this is something that I said weeks upon weeks ago at the very beginning that I wanted to see this dynamic, and I got it. You know, we have that fun kind of romantic side. We get to see Selina trying to give Bruce a glimpse into the real world. He's cushioned in this world of privilege, and he wants to be better than what he could become, simply sinking back and kicking up his feet on his wealth, you know. And Selina questions why he doesn't do that. And then when she sees how tenacious, how adamant he is about bettering and improving and strengthening himself, she figures, hey, you know, while I'm stuck here, I may as well give the kids some tips. And it's cool to see how she is unintentionally crafting her someday lover slash nemesis. So that irony is really fun to see. And I really enjoyed their interactions. I enjoyed the way that Alfred interacted with them as well. And I have to say that the scene where Alfred was training Bruce in the art of fighting, you know, they're out on kind of the patio, and we've got, I don't know if I imagined this, but it was like kind of by a river or something. Like, did I see that wrong? Did I imagine it? Because I was totally thinking about, from Game of Thrones, Arya Stark's training with Syrio Forel, with the water dance and all the sword fighting stuff. So I saw some parallels there. That was really fun. Also, another thing that I enjoyed about this episode was its many little ties to The Dark Knight from Christopher Nolan's trilogy. For one thing, well, I mean, of course, Harvey Dent being a part of things is reminiscent of, or makes us think back to, The Dark Knight. But there was also the scene where Mooney sends her goons to go try to get Falcone's money, and ultimately they just blow it up. And Mooney is fine with that because really all that she wants is to slowly whittle away at the man and to just get him where it hurts. It's not, she doesn't feel the need at this point or in this situation to directly take his capital, his source of power, and make it her own. She just wants to weaken him because she sees herself as capable of getting whatever she wants. She simply needs to make him smaller so that her greatness can shine. That's kind of the way that I saw that. But like kind of with the burning of the money, I couldn't help but think of that iconic scene with the Joker and his mountain of burning cash, and sort of that chaos that whole scene imparted. So good. Totally want to rewatch that movie right now. But and there's also this scene where with the food fight over at the Wayne Manor, when Selina was trying to entice Bruce to hit her. She's like, come on, hit me. And then I also thought of the scene with the Joker, like, come on, I want you to do what I want you to do. I want you to hit me, you know, like that whole thing. Ignore my impression because that was not even meant in any way, shape, or form to represent the greatness of Heath Ledger's Joker. So I say that now because people get real serious about those impressions, and I cannot do them, but I hold them dear in my heart nonetheless. So there's a lot of little things that made me think about The Dark Knight in this episode. But yeah, so those were my favorite parts of things. I love to see how Alfred's perception of Selina and her presence in the Wayne Manor, I love to see how that changed, because finally we get to see Bruce acting like a kid. You know, he has this childish moment where they're just fighting like kids do, and he doesn't really have or give himself a lot of opportunities to be his age. I think maybe the writers are trying to remind us, like, okay guys, it's not Batman yet. I mean, would Batman have a freaking donut fight with Catwoman? I don't know, maybe in some weird fan fiction, but you tell me. So yeah, it was cool to kind of see how We got to see the mob war continuing, and again, certain things are simmering and caricatures relegated to the background. But this episode, it didn't really bite off more than it could chew. It was very easy to follow. The dynamics between the characters were good. It was nice to see Gordon and Harvey just act like cop partners and not constantly at each other's throats and necks. They're working together. They're doing what they can. And also, instead of having a villain of the week, in the character of Hargrove, the bomb maker, we really get to sympathize with him and then fear for him as he is sent along with all the other Blackgate folks to Arkham Asylum. And so that was also very exciting too, that Arkham Asylum is finally coming into the picture, and I think that that is going to be a place that the latter half of the first season or the second season will explore, and I'm very much looking forward to that, because that is just a world of weird and wild and eccentric. So that's going to be really good, but also really bad, because it sucks that the criminally insane really are still completely screwed. What else? Yeah, so we got the Wayne murders, the mob war, we get to, and it didn't feel, the episode strangely didn't really focus on Gordon as much this week. And that was okay. Like, everybody got their moment to shine, you know? And I did enjoy that. So, Barbara and other hiccups aside, it was a pretty decent episode. I liked it a lot. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please leave it all in the comments, and do, of course, rage with me against Gordon's ex-lover and idiocy extraordinaire, because I am so many kinds of done with her and with my life whenever I think about her and what she does. Let's see, and also follow me on Twitter. I got a link in the description to that. I do live tweet the episodes, and although I don't necessarily do it at the time that you may watch the episode, I tweet all the frickin' live long day. Also, I just thought about, there was a line that Selena said to Bruce when she was saying, you know, in Gotham, people don't fight with gloves on, but, you know, someday Batman's going to. So that was kind of a little tee-hee-hee moment. But anyways, so yeah, there was a lot that I enjoyed about this episode. Also, the idea of the criminally insane not being bad people, but being sick, and maybe that could even serve as a metaphor of many parts of the city, of this society being sick. And I think that that's something that's been referred to earlier on in the season as well. But anyways, so lots of good stuff, lots and lots of ugly, most of it contained in the 5 minutes that Barbara Kean's existence was brutally thrust upon us. But we don't talk about that. Except we do. We need to. This is therapy. Right here, right now. You and me. Let's duke it out, okay? So, I'm very excited for next week. I love you all, and as always, I will be back before you know it.